Hello guys, welcome back to my channel Automation Hub Sarthak, and today's video is probably one of the most important and probably a little complicated as well, but once you understand, Java becomes very smooth, and working in Selenium and designing framework, it becomes even smoother. So without further delay, let's go ahead. And if you remember, I had created the Oops YouTube channel package wherein I created couple of okay, what is this methods? I don't remember. Okay, I'll delete this. Okay, we have a package for methods. Okay, so now our next concept is static and non-static. It is extremely important. Extremely important. Okay, please see this video n number of times if you want. I'm making this particular class static underscore non-static, and let's begin. Before we begin, let's rewind something. If you remember, when I made told you what are objects, what are classes and objects, I told you something about objects. Okay, so similarly, let's understand again. If you remember, what were objects? Objects were nothing but instance of a class. Okay, this was the definition. Correct. Now let's go back to static. What is static? Of course, it is a keyword. Okay, we all know it is a keyword. Like there are many keywords in Java, static is one of the keywords, and you also know that main method is always static in nature because static is associated with it. So let's understand what exactly is static. Okay, so the definition of static is like, you cannot associate static alone. Static has to be associated with something. Okay, so it has to be associated with a member. Okay, so member of course, member of a class, of that class. Okay, what is the class here? Static underscore non-static. So static keyword has to be associated with a member of that class. It does not work on its own. Okay, now, so let's say for example, when is a particular member static? A member is static when it is not associated with instance of a class, of that class. Now, what is the instance of a class? Object. So a member is static when it is not associated with an object. Okay, so then what is it? Then we can say that static member belongs to the class itself. Okay, so this is what actually static is. Static has to be associated with a certain member of that class, and that member is not associated with the object of that class. It is independent member and it belongs to the class itself. And what can a static member do? So the question comes, what can a static member do? Okay, well, it can access another static member directly, need not create any class instance. It has, okay, static members can call each other directly or via class name. They do not need objects to call each other. Okay, please, even though this video might be a little elongated, each and every line which I am writing will actually make your concepts very, very clear. Please watch this video thoroughly. Okay. Now, there is one more thing which I need to tell you. The value of a static field or member, whatever, is the same across all instances of the class. Now, what is this again? Like all of a sudden there was no instances, it is not associated, and again this thing comes into picture. I'll tell you while we do the programming. So let's get into programming. What is static and what is non-static, and why the value of a static field remains same across all the instances of a class, even though it is not associated with it or it doesn't need any support. Now, this is a static method, public static void main. Agree? Fine. Let me go ahead and make another static method, public static void test, my favorite test method. Okay, and I'll write here, this is a static test method. Okay, now I'll make another static test method, public static void sample, and I'll write syso. This is a static sample method. Okay, now let me make a non-static method, public void, because the static keyword is not getting associated with it, so this method will become a non-static method, public void, let's say coding. I'm falling short of words, God. This is a non-static method known as coding. Anything. I'll make another non-static method, public void debugging. Okay. This is a non-static method known as debugging. Cool. Now, we'll go step by step. Static, it has to be associated with the member of that class. Fine. Methods are all members of a class. So static got associated with all the four members, sorry, these two members, and these two members are non-static. So whichever member static got associated with it, they became static members. Okay. Now, a member is static when it is not associated with instance of that class. Fine. We have not created an object. Let's go ahead and create the object. Control C, Control V, object reference equals to new. So this is the object which we have created, and this is the object reference. Now, before I move into non-static, let me tell you something. The static members belongs to the class itself. That means you can say that static is nothing but a class property in itself. So now let's see what static can do. It can access another static method member directly. So main is a static method. Can it directly access this test method because it is static? Yes, you can. It will work. Can it actually access once, or it can access multiple number of times? It can access multiple number of times. There is no hard and fast rule. You can access any number of times, not a problem. This is going to work. Now, how many other static members are left? Sample. Can sample also work? Both the static members can main access? Yes. And can this also be done multiple number of times? Yes. What is the other way static member can call itself? Static is what? A class property, as I have told you. Okay, it is directly associated. It is directly belongs to the class itself. So, can this particular static method be called by class? Yes. Dot test. Directly it can call itself. And can it call itself multiple number of times? Yes, it can. There is no hard and fast rule that it cannot. See. Now, can this class call the other sample static method? Yes, it can. Why not? And can it call it multiple number of times? Yes, it can. It can. Let's run the code. See, when you called, this is a static method got printed. Everything got printed here. See? So you can call them as many number as you want. Okay, I'm making it 1. It looks little ugly. You got the gist, I guess. So we reach to a conclusion that static member can call another static member directly, and it can also call that particular static member via class name. Okay, got it. Now when I say static member can call itself directly, fine, main method has all the power to call, fine. So this also means static member can call itself other member directly. That means can test call sample? Yes, it can. Why not? No problem. It will call. Can sample call test? Yes, it can. No problem. It can, because they are static. Now, non-static cannot, a static cannot call non-static. Fine. So what I'll do is, I'll try to call a static method inside, I'll try to call a non-static method coding inside the main method, which is anyway static. Will it work? It will not work because it is not allowed. Non-static methods cannot be called directly. They have to be called by object reference. We know this concept. You can only call this by object reference. You cannot call coding, which is a non-static method, directly or by class name. It will not work. You will have to use this. The same thing applies to debugging as well. Okay, objref.debug. Okay, see, this is how this thing works. Static members can call each other directly. Non-static members have to be called by the object reference. Now, there is another concept. Question is, can non-static call static directly? This is also a good question, right? Can non-static call static directly? Can this fellow's coding, can it call test? Let's see. Can it call sample? Yes, there is no hard and fast rule for non-static. So non-static can call static members as well as non-static members directly. Okay, so even coding can call debugging. Not a problem. It is fine. Static cannot call non-static. In fact, sample is a static method. It cannot call coding. It cannot. Can it? It cannot. Why? Because sample is static and coding is non-static. Coding can call sample because coding is non-static. Non-static can call static, but static cannot call non-static directly. Can I use the object reference for this particular method? Why is it not working? Because this particular object which is created is specific to this particular main method. So if you want to call the coding inside the static method sample, you have to make object here. You have to make another object. I'll copy this. You'll have to make another object here, but you will have to change the object reference. You may not choose to, but I will change it. Now it will work. This will also be able to call debugging. See, static can call non-static via object reference, but non-static can call static and non-static just like that. Like static can call static just like that, non-static can call static and non-static just like that directly. Okay, but there are certain rules associated with static, that static will only be able to call static. Okay, and static can call itself directly or call via class name. Okay, and you can make n number of static methods, they can all call each other, no problem at all. But in case you want a non-static entity to be called, you will have to create the object. But for a non-static entity, for a non-static member, it has no rule. It can call a static member, it can call a non-static member directly. There is no rule applicable to non-static members while calling anything. There is one exception, and this exception is extremely important, and this exception is for static. As we know, static can call static, okay? But with one exception. None of the static members can call main method. That is not allowed. Again, even though, again you will say that then this becomes an argument. Why main method cannot be called? Main method is also static. Then again this definition is not valid. How is this definition valid? This is an exception. Why? Because just imagine if you are calling main method and you are printing all the logic. What is the point of having a main method? Main method is the only static member which cannot be called anywhere, neither by class name, neither directly, neither by object references. Please remember this. I'm writing it here. Main method is the only static member which cannot be called anywhere, neither directly nor by class name. Okay, okay, before I tell you the third way, which is also not happening, now you see object reference is mostly for non-static. Okay, what if I try to call a static member with this? Can I call test with this? Will it work? Yes, it will work, but it will throw a warning. Why? See, Java throws a warning when you do this. It will code, logic will come out, but it will still throw a warning, and it says the static method test is from the type for this class should be accessed in a static way. It says I have already given a lot of privilege to static members. They can call themselves directly or they can call via class name. Why are you trying to call yourself by an object reference? No need, call yourself directly. Okay, but this is very bad way of calling a static member. We generally don't do it, but it works. So please do not do this. Please do not practice this. This is just for information, guys. Okay, sometimes in interview they'll ask you, if I create an object and via the object reference, can I call a static member? You will be saying, no, we cannot. Actually the answer is yes, we can, but Java gives you a warning that no need to do such things. The test method is a static method. It can call itself directly. Why are you bothering this obj ref, this object reference of non-static? Leave that poor fellow alone. That is for non-static. Anyways, you have a lot of privileges. Why do you want to grab a bite from their thing as well? So please don't. Okay, this is one thing which you need to remember. And now I was telling about the other point, right? Main method cannot be accessed directly, cannot be accessed by class name, and it cannot be neither also not by object reference. So main method is absolutely not accessible anywhere in the class. That is how powerful main method is. Now this is mostly about static. Okay, now in the next video I'll teach you about global variables. Look, next video will also be a continuation of this. I don't want to pile up too much concept here. As of now, this thing will also boggle your mind. Please see this particular video thoroughly, watch it again and again, come back to me with doubts. The next video will also be a continuation of static and non-static. The only thing is I will introduce local variable and global variable and teach you little bit advanced concept about static and non-static. I hope you like this video. Please watch this, and everything which I am mentioning in comment actually are interview questions. Please do not ignore the comments which I am writing. They are interview questions, and watch my videos thoroughly. If you have any doubts, Please do get back to me. I'll definitely answer. Static and non-static, this is extremely important. Okay, I'm marking it extremely important. People can actually, put you in a fix. If the interviewer is good with Java, he will, totally confuse you if you are not 100% sure. This is extremely important. Okay, guys. Chalo, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for watching my videos, and please, as usual, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Sarthak here, signing off. Wait for my next video. I'll teach you about global variables and local variables, and then I will teach you advanced level of non-static and how actually the definition of non-static is not only how the definition of object is not only instance of a class. I'll teach you how non-static things are all equivalently important and how they are addressed. Thank you so much, guys. Please do subscribe to my channel. Sarthak here, signing off.